A wealthy man in an expensive suit was yelling at a struggling single mother in a grocery store parking lot. She owed him money from a debt. He threatened to hurt her. He shoved her. He made it clear that if she didn't pay him thousands of dollars, there would be consequences. The mother stood there, terrified and helpless, knowing she didn't have the money. Then the parking lot went quiet. 20 Hells Angels pulled into the lot on their motorcycles. They surrounded the rich man in a tight circle. The leader looked at him and said one sentence that would change everything. "You just made the biggest mistake of your life." Jennifer Martinez was a single mother working 2 jobs. She had 3 children, ages 6, 9, and 12. She was doing everything right, but money was always tight. Some months she could barely afford groceries. Jennifer had borrowed $8,000 from a wealthy man named Richard Sterling 6 months ago. She needed it for her son's medical emergency, a surgery that couldn't wait. The hospital payment was due immediately and she had no insurance. She'd promised to pay Sterling back. But life had gotten harder. Her hours at one job were cut. Her car needed expensive repairs. Her children needed school supplies and clothing. Jennifer had managed to pay back $3,000. She still owed $5,000. She was making progress, but it was slow. Richard Sterling was not a patient man. He was used to getting what he wanted immediately. He was a successful businessman, but his success had made him arrogant and cruel. He saw poor people as weak and unworthy of respect. Sterling had been bothering Jennifer constantly, calling her, sending her messages, threatening her with legal action. He told her that if she didn't pay the full $5,000 by the end of the month, he would take her to court and have her wages garnished. He'd threatened to contact her employers and tell them she was a financial liability. Jennifer was terrified. She was trying her best, but Sterling's threats made everything feel impossible. The final confrontation came on a Saturday morning at a grocery store. Jennifer was shopping with her youngest child when Sterling spotted her in the parking lot. He approached her aggressively. "Jennifer," he said, his voice angry and loud. "You've been avoiding me. I'm done waiting. I want my money today." "I don't have it," Jennifer said quietly, trying to protect her son from the confrontation. "I'm paying you back as fast as I can." "That's not good enough," Sterling said, his voice rising. "You're a deadbeat. You borrowed money knowing you couldn't pay it back. That's theft, Jennifer. I could press charges." He stepped closer, using his size and his aggressive presence to intimidate her. "I'm giving you 1 week. 1 week to get me $5,000 or I'm destroying your life. I'll call your employers. I'll sue you. I'll make sure nobody in this city ever hires you again." Jennifer felt tears forming. "Please, I'm trying—" "I don't care," Sterling interrupted. He grabbed her arm roughly. "You need to understand what happens when people don't pay their debts to me." That's when a hand appeared and grabbed Sterling's wrist. The hand belonged to a Hells Angel named Marcus. Marcus had been inside the grocery store and had witnessed Sterling's aggressive behavior through the store's glass windows. He'd watched Sterling yelling at Jennifer. He'd watched Sterling grab her. "Let her go," Marcus said calmly, but his voice carried a dangerous edge. Sterling turned, shocked. He saw a large man in a Hells Angels leather vest. He saw more bikers parking their motorcycles in the lot. Within seconds, there were 20 Hells Angels surrounding the parking lot area. Sterling let go of Jennifer's arm. "Who the hell are you?" Sterling asked, trying to regain control of the situation by being aggressive. "This is between me and her. Back off." "It became my business," Marcus said, "when you put your hands on a woman who was minding her own business." Sterling tried to bluff his way out. "I don't know who you think you are, but I'm a very successful businessman. I have connections. I have money, and I have lawyers. You can't intimidate me." Marcus smiled slightly. Not a friendly smile, but the kind of smile that showed he found the situation amusing. "Money and lawyers," Marcus repeated. "That's all you have, isn't it? You use money to bully people who don't have it. You use your lawyer friends to threaten people who can't afford lawyers." He stepped closer. "You think that makes you powerful. Let me tell you what I see. I see a man who can only feel strong when he's hurting people weaker than him. I see a coward hiding behind his bank account." Sterling tried to walk away. "I'm not going to stand here and be disrespected by some criminal." "You're not going anywhere," Marcus said firmly. Not until we have a conversation about how you treat people. The other Hells Angels formed a complete circle around Sterling. They weren't touching him, but they made it very clear he wasn't leaving. Here's what's going to happen, Marcus said. You're going to cancel Jennifer's debt, all of it. The $5,000, consider it paid in full. Absolutely not, Sterling said. That's my money. She owes me. You're going to cancel it, Marcus interrupted, his voice still calm but with absolute certainty. And you're never going to contact her again. You're never going to threaten her. You're never going to approach her. If you do, we'll know. And we'll come find you, Sterling laughed, a nervous laugh. You can't force me to cancel a debt. That's illegal. You're right, Marcus said. So here's the choice. You can either erase her debt voluntarily, or we can handle this a different way. And trust me, Richard, you don't want us to handle it a different way. One of the other bikers stepped forward and showed Sterling his phone. On the screen was a photo of Sterling's expensive house, then photos of his expensive car, then photos of his office building. We know where you live, the biker said. We know where you work. We know where you shop. We know your whole life, Richard. Now you can be smart and let this go, or you can be stupid. Sterling finally understood that he was in serious danger. He realized that these men weren't going to hurt him. They didn't need to. They'd made their point. Fine, Sterling said, his voice shaking slightly. I'll cancel the debt. You're going to do more than that, Marcus said. You're going to give her $2,000 as an apology. What? No, $2,000, Marcus repeated. Consider it a lesson in how to treat people. You grabbed her. You threatened her. You terrorized her for months. $2,000 is cheap for the education you're about to receive. Sterling, realizing he was completely outmatched, and that these men had the resources to make his life extremely difficult, complied. He transferred $2,000 to Jennifer right there in the parking lot using his phone. Then Marcus said something that would stay with Sterling forever. You think you're powerful because you have money. You think people should respect you because you're successful. But real power isn't about money. Real power is about being part of a community. It's about people standing with you because they respect you. You don't have that. You don't have anyone. You only have money, and money can't protect you from people who have each other, he continued. Jennifer has nothing materially, but she has community. People saw what you did, and we responded. That's real power. Your money is useless here. The Hells Angels slowly dispersed. They got on their motorcycles and rode away. Sterling stood alone in the parking lot, shaking. Jennifer never heard from Richard Sterling again. He'd canceled her debt completely. He'd paid her the additional $2,000. He'd learned his lesson. More importantly, Sterling's behavior changed dramatically. Word spread in the business community about what had happened. It became a story that made people understand something important. Bullying has consequences, and there are communities that will stand up against it. Sterling actually became a better person. He started treating people more fairly. He hired a business coach to help him understand interpersonal dynamics. He realized that his aggressive, threatening approach wasn't working anymore. He eventually became involved in charitable work. He donated money to organizations helping low-income families. He seemed to be genuinely trying to become a better person. Not because he was suddenly moral, but because he'd experienced the consequences of his behavior. Jennifer's life improved dramatically. With the debt canceled and the additional $2,000, she was able to get her car fixed. She was able to catch up on bills that had been overdue. Most importantly, she was able to stop living in terror of Sterling's threats. Jennifer told the Hells Angels how grateful she was. She brought them cookies. She brought them flowers. She tried to repay them in small ways for what they'd done. Marcus told her, "You don't owe us anything. We did this because it was right. That's what community does. We take care of each other." Jennifer became an advocate for speaking up about bullying and threats. She worked with local organizations that helped people experiencing financial coercion. She told her story to educate people about what predatory behavior looks like. The Hells Angels chapter became known in the community as protectors of vulnerable people. People knew that if they were being threatened or bullied, they could reach out to the club and there would be a response. More broadly, the incident changed how people in the business community treated those in financial hardship. When word spread about what happened to Sterling, other wealthy businessmen reconsidered their tactics. Several canceled debts or negotiated more favorable terms with people struggling to pay. The power dynamic shifted. It went from wealthy people can bully those without resources to bullying has real consequences, and communities will respond. The profound lesson extends far beyond this one confrontation. True power isn't about money or individual strength. It's about community and the willingness of people to stand up for those being hurt. Sterling thought his wealth gave him power over Jennifer. He learned that wealth means nothing compared to a community united against abuse. The HELLS Angels didn't use violence or threats of violence. They simply showed up and made clear that this kind of behavior wouldn't be tolerated. That clarity, backed by their presence and their resources, was more powerful than all of Sterling's money. Jennifer learned that she wasn't alone, that her community had her back, and that bullies ultimately aren't as powerful as they seem. And Sterling learned something he desperately needed to learn, that real success isn't about crushing others. It's about being someone people respect. This story reveals an important truth. Bullies rely on isolation. They target people who seem alone and powerless. But when communities stand up together, bullies are exposed and defeated. Jennifer wasn't weak for being afraid of Sterling. Sterling was weak for needing to bully someone to feel strong. Have you ever witnessed someone stand up to a bully? Have you ever been part of a community that protected someone vulnerable? Have you ever seen what real power looks like? Like this video and subscribe to our channel for more shocking stories about bullies getting what they deserve and communities standing up for the vulnerable. Hit that notification bell right now so you never miss our latest uploads. Comment below. Tell us about a time when you witnessed someone stand up to a bully, or when you were helped by unexpected allies. Or share a moment when you saw a community unite to protect someone being victimized. Your story could inspire thousands of people to stand up against bullying. Thanks for watching. Sterling's story reminds us that bullying only works when bullies feel safe. When communities respond, when people stand together, when there are consequences for cruelty, that's when bullying stops. If you're being threatened or bullied, reach out. Tell someone you trust. Call the police if you're in danger. You're not alone, and you deserve protection. See you in the next video where we'll share another incredible story about communities standing up against injustice and protecting vulnerable people.